My name is Robert Ferguson, and this is my final year project. It's Enviro 2.0, which is a refactoring of an existing project from Svelte 4 to Svelte 5, which is basically a web assignment. This focuses on range anxiety, which is what new EV owners will experience when they're not too sure that the vehicle will actually do the distance of the route that they have in their weekly life or daily trips. So I'll just quickly demonstrate the login, and so we see here, I'll just use Google Login as the quickest. I'll just pick this user because this is a main user. We see the updates on the menu. We have an extra feature here is update EV database. Only if user has this. This essentially allows the database to be imported from the actual JSON file into Firebase, where it'll update the vehicles with the same ID, or it'll add new vehicles with new IDs. It's just a way of keeping the system up to date and the results the user can get. You can also see that if we go to the car dealers, if we do a search for all the brands, which was already in the system already, I do Audi, I click on car dealer, you'll see that the new feature added in is that we only display the electric cars that have the same brand. So there's the Audi Q6, the Q4, the GT, and see that it's only Audis. If we go back into the car dealers again, and let's say pick Ford, Ford will just display the Ford EV cars. So see here we have the Mustang, the Ford Focus, and that's it. And obviously, if we click on one of these, we get more details on the vehicle. So the user can find out how long it takes to get a 10 to 80% charge, and the battery capacity added, and obviously the charging graph, how long it takes to charge from 10 to 80% with the times. We also have the customer review. This has been updated to Svelte 5. So we'll just do hide there again. This just proves that it works. If somebody else was in a review, it will come up here in real time. And we also have the message center where we can actually go into chats that we've created or extend, and just do hide there again. And as we can see, it'll add to the chat, and the Finton's order user can come in and they can reply, and that'll be a real-time chat. This is upgraded to Svelte 5 also. Here in the EV Route Planner, which is the brand new feature that was added into Enviro 2.0. So here on Monday, so we're just going to quickly add in a couple of waypoints that we can get started. And we just add in a few here, and we just go calculate route. See here we have all the waypoints calculated into the weekly distance and drive time, but we also display the daily distance and drive time down here. We can also drag and drop. Once we drag and drop, we can see that the route automatically recalculates. We can also go in and do an edit route. Now, obviously, we can't edit the route here because it's disabled. When we click on the edit route, we can. So, for example, if I want to make the first one here, put that to second. We see that now this is now 1 and that's number 2. And we can also bring this down and put it in different order, and it'll recalculate. We can also use the arrows as well to change it around. We can also go in and we can remove waypoints. If I take number 2 out, that will then recalculate the route without that waypoint added. We can also add in an additional feature here. So if I click on this place here, so it's too far from the road, and if I go calculate, it'll give me a warning. It says the waypoint 4 is not near a road, please reposition it, and just dismiss this. And once we drag this closer to the road, and we see here it recalculates with that position. This is our Monday route planner. I'll now fill in the rest of the week. We've now added the rest of the week. As we see here, the week distance has jumped up along with the total drive time. So Tuesday we'll see is a different color, same as Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then obviously Sunday is a extremely long journey. Now, as we can see, we can have the EVs, so we can view the EV results or hide them. So we'll just view the results for this particular journey. And we'll see here that if we do the all route, so it's 523 kilometers, we'll see here very few cars that would do that distance. And we also highlight the low battery warning. So low battery basically means that it's under 20%. So if this was a regular journey of a week that this user would do, these cars here would have an issue because they would be constantly going below the 20%, which could hurt the battery in the long run. It's recommended to have between 20 and 80% for most of the life of the battery. We'll see here we also have filters. So for example, we have the body type filter. So we see here we've got a convertible, we have a saloon, and we have an SUV. So if I want to just look at the convertibles, I click on that. If I want to look at convertibles and saloons, I just do this. So I can actually take them off, take them on, and see which ones I want based on body type. I can also do the range filter as well. So if I wanted to see what the cold weather range is, we'll see here only one. We'll see it gives the new cold weather range of the vehicle. Um, I can even add a 15-minute charge, which then adds extra mileage to the vehicle. As we see here in this vehicle, a 15-minute charge added 226 kilometers and a total range of 614. And that was up from 387 on a cold day. We'll just clear some of these filters just to make it a little bit more readable. You can see here the WPLPT range is the official range under perfect conditions. Cold weather, we've already displayed it. The mild weather, obviously, we have a little bit extra. The warm weather, because it's warm weather, the aircon will also drain the battery. Therefore, we have slightly less vehicles. We can do the whole route or just pick days. So obviously, a day with low mileage, we get a lot more results, and there's no battery warnings. If we start going up to a day where we have a very long journey, this is where we start to see that the Sunday on this route is where the most of the driving is. This is where we would probably have an issue. But if we added a 15-minute charge, it then gives us more vehicles, and it also keeps the charge of the vehicles a little bit higher. So as we can see here, we get a bigger list. Another feature is that we click on the view details, and it gives us more details about the actual charging of the vehicle. Obviously, charging electric vehicle is very important, especially for range anxiety. So we've got 10 to 80%. We'll see here is the highest charging curve, and we'll be able to see how much of a charge we can get based on the time. So for example, it's 17 minutes for this particular vehicle to go from 10% to 80%, and this is the amount of energy that's added to the battery. So if we close down, we can see if we go to different vehicles, we will get different charging graphs. For example, the Hyundai Kona has a higher charge, but it takes longer. It's a faster current. But all EVs will dip at the very end because as it comes near the charge, it'll reduce the charge to save the battery so it doesn't overcharge. And that will be apparent on all the vehicles. Going back to the map, we can see that we've imported all of our waypoints. So for example, if we had an issue where the browser was reloaded or we lost network connection, I'll just force a reload the page now. You see that it reloads, but it keeps the waypoints. So we store the waypoints in local storage and we just load them up again. Therefore, we always have the routes unless we clear the browser history, which will then clear the storage.